Literally since we started Nightmare, into Hell, and I haven't got one. 2 weeks, I'll know if I got accepted into uni. Oh yeah. To be fair, I thought you were already in uni, but I'm guessing it's like additional classes or the renewal of the classes, perhaps? This guy is like extra fast and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, no. Is it like the renewing the classes or is it a different thing? Because I thought you were currently studying. And I thought I may be wrong, but I thought you were trying to change your classes, I think. I was supposed to switch majors, but they didn't allow me, so I stopped being in uni. Jesus. That stunned me so much, I didn't realize this guy died. Oh shit, hold on. Yeah, no, I didn't know that they completely dumped you out with that. I knew they didn't accept it, but I haven't been to uni myself, so I don't know how it all works. So my assumption is, like, if you're in there and you've got classes and stuff, or if you're studying in some capacity, I just figured that, you know, you're still a student kind of thing. But yeah, that explains some things. I love how this is kind of damaging the door at the same time. But yeah, no, I never did like any kind of like higher education stuff. I guess I did like certificates and shit. But like in Australia, you can kind of do that in workplaces. I mean, I think you can do it elsewhere also through workplaces and stuff. But generally speaking, I normally just did whatever my trade qualifications were. They follow normal recruitment like high schooler, and they'll just grade all the classes I did once I get in. They'll grade all the classes you did once you get in. What the fuck? So be having only 1 or 2 classes on the first semester anyway. Well, that sounds a lot better than the fucking double schedule you used to have. Because that shit was like a bit of bullshit, honestly. I saw the others while on physics major. Oh yeah. Did that drop anything? No. Okay. I don't think there's anybody else down here because I cleared out this like bottom skinny through here. So we shouldn't have anybody right down the bottom there, but there should be another one of those. Yeah, apart from that guy, I was going to say it, there should be, oh, there's a special in here. Hold on, is it you? Is it this guy in general? Somebody's buffing that guy and I don't think it's you. Oh shit, fuck off, mate. One of these guys is like special and I don't know who's giving them the buff. Mate, get out of my face. Yeah, I should have noticed back when the game wouldn't let me swap over weapon. Because it will do that sometimes when my internet like craps itself a little bit, but not enough to like lose stream. And normally when that's happening, I should be aware to like back the fuck off from battles and shit. But yeah. It's Diablo. I'll tell you what, if I could get a level, I keep saying this, I said this for like all of like trying to get to level 82. If I could get a level, that would just be amazing. Also half lurking because I'm working on my D project and trying a new Linux distro on laptop. Oh yeah, it's fine. Like, yeah, by all means, like if you're lurking and stuff, look, I don't know, you guys know me, I will always be having like multiple conversations. I will always be like rambling on about what I'm on about in the game and or other. I don't know why these guys are fast as hell, but somebody in this area is extreme danger noodle if they're buffing them to be that fast. It must just be somebody in between here is doing it because these guys weren't that close to the other group. It could be the back off, mate. It could be the Lasher guy is buffing them like that. Dropping rings and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, no, I'm always on about like anything and everything anyway, so like if I'm asking questions and stuff like that, like don't feel like you have to respond and stuff. Like you can if you want to and stuff, but I normally ask questions with the view that like they're generally open-ended. and may not necessarily get answered for any given number of reasons. I guess there must be one of these goblin hut things up here somewhere. I was like trying to run then, and this guy was like, the gremlin thing was like directly in my way, and I'm like, nope. Nope. Like, you know when you're running parallel to an enemy and you're like, it's gonna turn around and like one hit me? That's what I felt like was going on. I don't know where you're going, Valkyrie, but the battle is up here, sweetie. She was like down there doing something, and I'm guessing there must be one enemy or something down there, because otherwise why would she be running down there? But the battle is up here. What question did you have again? Had to turn on YouTube guide for a sec so I didn't hear. I don't think I specifically asked a question. I think I just said that it was better than the crapload of like classes you had last year. And that's all I said. Was that like if you've only got like a couple of them, that's a lot better. But I feel like you got like overloaded. What about open-ended questions? Oh no, when you said you were half lurking and stuff, I said that most of the time I'm asking like open-ended questions with the view that like I'm not expecting somebody to actually respond. But like if somebody does respond, that's always nice and shit. But yeah, normally like if I ask a question and you don't want to respond, you don't feel like talking or whatever, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to. Or if like you didn't catch it and stuff. Because the other thing too is like I always find like the biggest thing from my perspective is whenever I am lurking in somebody's stream, they'll almost always ask the question just as I leave the fucking room. And like I'll hear it because I've like put down my headset sometimes, or I'll hear it because I've got my headset on, right? And I won't be in a position to respond. And I'll be like, I can't respond to that. By the time I come back to the computer, the conversation is well and truly like moved on, and I'm like, I feel like a bit of an ass for like not having responded, but at the same time I'm like, I wasn't in a position to, and I had to like go do something. That happens pretty often. I just realized that these guys are like, I think kind of like ingesting a corpse to make themselves explosive. I don't think I've noticed that before. I do need mana. I also need to put a decoy over there, but she won't fucking summon it. There we go. That thing's gonna blow up. There we go. Don't run away, Eliza. Can't afford... Well, that's another thing too, is I did buy like 2 Elizas as well, at least. So that is a good sum of money as well. I wasn't really thinking about. Absolutely. Be able to hold my job too, which is nice. Just for the first semester, we'll see about the second. I'm just hoping that they don't just fucking fully overload you, because like the thing is, no matter how good you are at like studying or like a particular topic and stuff like that, there comes a point when too much is too much, and too much for too long can do a lot of damage to the body, you know, and like mental psyche and stuff like that. Like, you know, especially too if you like want to like feel like you should be able to keep up with it and stuff, but you know, in the event that you're not, or stuff happens, like, you know, you kind of need that like leeway of a normal person to like deal with it. I don't know, I look at it like this. It's kind of like, in the event of shit happening, shit happens, right? Is if you don't have any wiggle room at all in like your schedule in any capacity, and something bad happens, some kind of crisis-y thing happens, then you're shit out of luck. Kind of thing. I don't know if I killed him. There we go. Now he's dead. You know. Whereas if you have like that little bit of wiggle room and something happens, it suddenly does fill up like all your spare time, but at least you had that room to accommodate for like whatever happens and stuff. How I kind of like look at it. Yeah, there's jars in here I need to kick. I do like the fact that I can kick jars. It's kind of fun. Let's go back and get you healed before you end up poisoned and shit. Hey, Marla. I sort of wish I had have seen how much XP I had before I died, because I don't think I lost that much. I definitely lost a lot of money, but I obviously wasn't paying attention to when Eliza died a couple of times. and how much that kind of cost me. I was gonna say, I'm like, oh, it's nice to pick up something that's actually got like something to it. I'm like, it's not that great. It's just nice to see something magical. I get like so little magical stuff because I don't have anything that's like find additional magical items and stuff like that. Like I would if I could have something like if any of these things had this kind of stuff on them, plus it had like, you know, chance to find magical items is increased as well in amongst that. I'd love it. I'd use it and wear it and stuff, but most of the stuff I'm finding doesn't have that. And so I'm not finding extra stuff that has good shit in it. And it's a little bit frustrating in that way because I know when I was younger, I used to like getting a lot of the magical item stuff, but to upgrade my shit, I do need equal or better because I did also do that. We've got a little bit of surplus money now. But yeah, I'm just not finding, like, the stuff that I am coming across in the game isn't the same, obviously. I'm never going to get a 1-to-1 ratio of what I had when I was a kid versus what I get an option of now, right? You just don't get that in games. It's not exact loot all the time. But, yeah, I kind of wish I could get a bit more of, like, find magical items. Instead, I get the shit that's, like, reduce requirements or some shit. And I'm like, I can't use that. Because that's basically, like, fixing the problem of not being able to use most of this stuff. I also don't know where Eliza is in here. I think she's over there trapped, which is not great. Well, let me go back down this way so I can kind of... There we go. I can help her now. Mental condition. I'm still easily overwhelmed. Work for 5 hours, 3 days a week anymore, and I felt pressure making me unable to rest. Yeah. That's another thing too, is like mental health is a huge factor in like how much you can actually handle each day. Not you specifically, but people in general can handle each day. And like if your mental capacity is not currently full, if it's in any way depleted, then everything is already more effort than it should be and stuff. Like I do understand that, you know. Let me get this thing out of here. But yeah, no, that's what I was sort of saying. I'm like, you know, hopefully they don't overload you with work. Like, I kind of don't understand universities in some capacity myself. Let me put a decoy there. Lock that door. I don't kind of understand universities myself because, like, I don't understand if you choose like a certain amount of workload for it, or like if you're choosing too many courses to do at the same time, or if you have to choose a set amount or something like that. But whenever people talk about, you know, classes and studying in uni and stuff like that, I feel like everyone sounds like they're overloaded and overrun and exhausted and can't keep up and stuff like that. And I'm like, whatever the system is either really, really bad, or people have like a really bad habit of overcompensating how much they can handle with this stuff. It's got to be one of the two, because like I know that like when we handle stuff in school, for instance, like you turn up for a set amount of hours a day of studying and stuff like that, and then you do some tests later in the year and shit, right? Obviously everywhere in the world is a bit different for studying and stuff, but like I do feel like when we're younger, it's a set parameter that seems possible, but then as adults to rock up for classes, lectures, stuff like that, do the study, do whatever. Oh my god, they're in here too. No, you stay in there, mate. To like keep up with everything just seems like too much. Get out of there. There we go. Okay, there's a lot going on here, and I'm a little bit concerned that the fire guy in the back might get us dead. But Eliza's kind of like also not really helping. But my decoy is doing a great job by blocking this, so that is great. Alright, this is holy shit levels of back off. Back off, and then what is it I wanted to see? I thought it was like... Oh man, I thought I had to go back to town. Oh, it's actually doing that. Hold on. Let me go back to town because I'm starting to see it's bugging out with those squares again. So for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, when I do a immolation arrow or when the game itself casts fire and stuff around me, I have noticed that it will sometimes like form like a quick little square in an area. There was a square here that was bugging out. And when I start seeing it, I start getting worried the game might crash because I normally, not always, but I have noticed it around about the time it crashes. And it could just be a coincidence, but I'm not taking that chance with having died once tonight. You know. Can you play with that? No. Oh, I got lucky with that just then. Okay, what I want is I want you to attack that because I could definitely attack this and it would be great if Eliza could come around and do anything in here. Actually, you two attack that. No, Azula's a little stretchy. Hold on. I had to pat her. She's being squishy. Squishy levels are cute. I went to do a double major special, where she gets 2 master's degrees, automotive. She studied 1 part in Poland, put 1 part in Germany. Jesus. I have seen, what do you call it? Like, I've looked at, like, uni courses and stuff before, and I've seen it where it's like you can do this and this other one at the same time and stuff while you're studying or whatever, and I'm like, it just seems like too much. Like, obviously, if you're, like, great at studying and you're great at this stuff, by all means, go for it. But I kind of, like, feel like, you know, it's really more of a don't put too much on your plate to begin with. Just focus on one. I know that because it takes so long, you kind of want to, like, pan it out so that you're not having to spend twice as long doing it, like 6 years instead of 3. But honestly, it really sounds like doing one at a time is better. Alright, I think that they might still, like, launch me. I'll go stand over here because my Eliza may or may not help here. Hydrate. I'll see if we can run an extra ad. Hold on, Droll. Where's my thing? Yes. I snoozed one earlier, so I can. There we go. And you want a timeout? Cool. Alright. Let's get Droll timed out and I'll get my drink. I have like about a mouthful of my energy drink left. There we go. Alright, I'll have a sip of that. What's a welcome in, Droll? It's a shame you missed the 10-hour Rim Connect and stuff turn into 12 hours the other day. But I think you would have been suitably like annoyed by it because there was like no rats, and while you could spawn in boom rats, you couldn't purposely explode them. I didn't have the kill all animals thing. So I think you would have been just as upset as a few other people. But yeah. The boss is the way she is. Yeah, well that's the other thing too, is that we were talking about this earlier with jobs and stuff. It's great when you have it's great when you're not needing to like change a job or apply for a job or something like that, but you are, because like it gives you chances to find somewhere in your own time that's like better. But then sometimes you kind of like just don't have a choice, and then when you do need to find a job, you don't kind of like have as many options to say no and walk away because it's more urgent. What are you attacking over here? Oh, there's a fucking lasher. Hold on. You know, we'll get that dead. Hey Nuke, how are you? What are you up to? Since I'm so late, anything interesting happening? Hopefully no crashing. No crashing yet, but I have cleared the abandon. I went up there, I skidded along the bottom and I went up and cleared that. So if it does crash, I don't have to do it again. Let's see if I can spawn you in here. I guess not. Let's get you in here with me. So I don't have to do the abandoned again because I've gone down and completed that. I did die not long ago. We had like just a split second. I thought an enemy was stuck in a door because it wasn't moving for ages, and then it moved. And I was like, oh well, you know. Nothing I can do about that. There we go. I got her on the right side of the wall. Now I can move up a bit. I don't know what she's fighting. We're just, my emotional support Eliza is in the wrong room. But yeah. No, I don't think there's anything super detrimental. It's been some of me complaining about the cold. I was saying that, like, if everything is going well and we're getting up near, like, the end or something like that, I will just push forwards and see if I can find a waypoint. But, like, I'd really only give it, like, about an extra hour kind of thing. Because, like, anything more than that is, like, frustrating. I'll be, like, too tired kind of thing. But yeah, the cold's kind of sapping me a bit, which sort of sucks. But the cats are being kind of like super snuggly because of it. But it's nice. I was saying earlier that I tried to heat up the house. I spent the whole day trying to heat up the house, and I got it to be like kind of like comfortable. And then I had a nap because I'd been up from like stupid hours of early, and I had to sleep. My partner came home and opened the window and made it all cold again, which like undid like several hours of like, you know, running appliances to heat the house. So that was a little frustrating. He didn't know that I didn't have like warm clothes. They're all in the wash at the moment, so yeah. But shit happens. There we go. Got you. Now if I can get through here, Eliza might maybe follow us in here. But yeah, no, I was pretty stoked to play tonight just because, you follow the depot, mate. I was pretty stoked to play because, the first night I played this area, I ran sideways, like, long ways up the map. And then the second time I played this area, I went, like, up and down, like, up, down kind of thing. And I'm like, I'll go, like, long ways again, but if I can, like, tunnel my way up and get into the abandon and get that cleared out, then I don't have to run that dungeon again, you know? And because it takes about, like, the game generally crashes at 2 hours and 40 minutes, generally, almost exactly. I don't know if you guys will attack that, but I'll try. But yeah, because it generally crashes at that, if I don't have to clear that as part of it, normally I can clear out almost all this like Frigid Highlands map without going down there. I normally have like about 20 extra minutes, or no, sorry, that's wrong. I normally have about like the last 50 minutes of stream, and then it crashes like 20 minutes in, and I don't have enough time to run like the whole rest of that area. So I'm hoping if it doesn't crash, I might be able to push forwards. But the under area, the abandon, wasn't that bad this time. Like, you know how sometimes I go down there and it's really fucking hard? It was still difficult, but it wasn't that hard this time round. So it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I'm trying to like also stretch my back. I did have a nosebleed in the middle of the stream because like my nose was feeling like wet from the cold, and I'm like, oh, just like, I just want to like dab my nose, just like, I don't think it's actually wet, I think it's just cold kind of thing, and I just want to like, I don't know, just check. And anyway, my tissue cut my nose, so yeah, I got a nosebleed, and then my next tissue cut my nose again after it was like looking like it was gonna stop. Apparently I have sharp tissues, so yeah, that happened. Whoa, we gotta hit a flag for a second there. You guys see what I mean though? It's like, we're at, I would say, because I only had like a 10-minute countdown, we're at probably about the 240 minutes now. And we're starting to get like the chunks of lag. And the thing is, like, you'd be like, okay, well, I could always go back into town or like quit out of the game and come back in, or something like that would solve the problem. The only problem with that is that it would reset all the enemies, and then I would have to go through and kill all the enemies again. So it doesn't really solve my problem. Obviously, if I wasn't doing the very specific playthrough that I was doing, I wouldn't have most of this problem. But I am, and I do. I do want to kill that tower, but if I could get... let's put a decoy in there for you to blow up. I'm quite worried about these guys that have been coming in and blowing up and stuff. If I can get rid of this, I can stand around the corner, I can get rid of the damn tower. Because this thing's been half my problem too. There we go. Okay. So, you guys aren't blowing up with that. Let me move back over here. Eliza may maybe come back here. I just want to get rid of this. This is like something I can attack, so they'll be fine where they're standing. I just saw the fact that, like, actually, hold on. Let me pop you here. You can play with that. She might follow me though. Yeah, she's gonna follow me. What? No. I saw that. I saw that running at me so fast and I'm like, that's a lot of nope. I'll be over here. My Valkyrie doesn't know what to do with herself and she's not going to be like useful. Go fight. I'll get rid of this. It won't take me that long and then I'll come back over there. Oh, also my fucking mouse mats arrived too. My fucking merch mouse mats arrived. I took photos and shit and I haven't put them up yet. But I now have my like base set of 3. My different avatar colors and stuff like that. So that's cool. I want to like change one set over, but like whenever I get something like that, I always run it through like a washing machine and stuff, just because like a bit of like the OCD hand washing hygiene stuff, obviously, but like also because like my wrists and stuff will be against it, and I tend to find like because I do a lot of like hand washing and stuff, my skin is like pretty susceptible to irritants and shit. So just in case there's any kind of like surface chemicals or dust or anything like that that might irritate me, I also wash it as well. It's the same kind of principle as getting a shirt. You fucking wash it before you wear it, kind of thing. Like, I'm not saying that it's gonna have irritants and stuff. Nobody said that there's any issues with their mouse mats. I just wash by default. But yeah, I'm waiting for them to dry at the moment. The cold weather is not helping us get them dry. But I'm looking forward to changing those over. I kind of want to change them over by the weekend, because then that will give me nice fresh mouse mat. Because I wash my mouse mats pretty frequently anyway. I had an old one that was like really, really small, and it kind of like barely was fitting my like keyboard and mouse on it, sort of thing. But then these are huge, which is great because I can slide my keyboard back and I can fit like a plate on here or something if I want to. I could fit like my stream deck and my mouse and all that shit on it if I want to, which I do. But yeah, occasionally, because obviously I have cats and they like jump up on the desk and stuff, they don't always have the cleanest paws, so I do want to like wash it occasionally. And it would be nice to have like a 1-to-1 size mouse mat that I can kind of like swap between, instead of like going back down to the smaller one and then like playing with that for a couple of days and stuff. I like these actually, they're pretty nice. They're also like relatively soft as far as the mouse mat goes, which is really nice too. I will kill you guys in a moment. I'm still kind of like running up along this line here. There we go. I thought so. There was more enemies up here, but yeah, these groups of slayers have actually been a bit of an issue in like a large quantity, especially for fucking Eliza, who won't move out of the blast radius of them. But I'm not quite sure what's been buffing them. I don't know if that's just hell in general, because like they've been like running around. Mind you, it could be just the slayers dudes in the background, the lasher guys doing it. I don't know. She was in Germany. 3 out of 4 there was on antidepressants under heavy mental care. See, I have questioned if like, sorry, I had missed that message before. I had questioned a little bit if, you know, weather and stuff like that has a bit of an impact. I hear that like certain areas where it's colder and darker more often have got like a bit more depression and stuff like that. But I also know that like generally anybody in this day and age that's like kind of over, oh my god, there's fucking 4 of these dudes here. Anybody that's kind of like seriously overloaded, like I said, with like the uni with the multiple classes, and then you've got like, if you've got work as well on top of that, and then the world is kind of like, I don't go into these topics too much, but the world's kind of shit at the moment. And it's like, you know, generally speaking, I think like most people are struggling with the affording like basics and shit. Hence why, like, I was one of the people that did, like, a billathon earlier in the year, because I'm like, yeah, even just affording, like, basic necessities is hard these days. But yeah,
Good afternoon.
like, I don't blame it. I don't blame anybody that needs to be on, like, antidepressants, or I strongly encourage anybody that needs to see, like, therapists and stuff. Cold resistance isn't too bad, but I don't need it. I would like to keep some shit that's in, like, dexterity, but I'm pretty sure I've already got a perfect... Not perfect. I have, like, a better emerald than that, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. Now I encourage people to seek out and, like, obviously get therapy and or, like, speak to doctors and stuff about, like, what's going on in their life and whatever, because, like, I kind of feel like there's a lot of us out here that's kind of drowning. Like, I think, to a degree, in my case, I've just, like, I'm mostly accepting of, like, my situation and stuff. And, I don't know. After all the shit that I've been through, I kind of just see, like, the brighter side of stuff. Or at least I try to. Doesn't mean I don't have, like, bad days and crap. I just, I think I have, like, worse shit to prepare. Not minimizing anybody's situations, but I'm like, I have a lot of, like, worse stuff going on than, like, what my current life is going on. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's not as bad as this, you know, to, like, justify how I see it. If you have this many gremlins in an area, there has got to be one of your nest things. I heard a helm. What was that? Giant conch? Is that what I heard? Yeah. It's not a shell, mate. Don't say it's a shell. I'll tell you what, though. The cold weather's got, like, everything aching. Like, not just, like, my neck and stuff, but, one of my shoulders. My good shoulder is doing the aching at the moment, which doesn't make much sense to me. I figure I'm laying on it too much. Because I also have been, like, trying to, like, lay down for warmth. Because I'm like, my bed is, like, the warmest place. I have, like, the heater in that room. And then, obviously, I have blankets and shit. And I also acquire cats when I do that. So that's also a lovely thing that happens. I see you, Phoenix. I saw you just lurk underneath the desk. Yeah, I saw you. He, like, walked under there, and I, like, called him out about it. And then he, like, came and peeked back at me. And I'm like, yep. He'll do that, though. He's mostly just, like, gonna lurk around and then probably be like, oh, yeah, there's a heater on in here. I had the heater on earlier today, and I, like, left the room, and I came back, and Phoenix had already found it. I'm like, man, that did not take him long. But Phoenix also doesn't have, like, a lot of body fat, being, like, an older cat, so I figure he probably also would enjoy it. There you are. I was gonna say, I'm like, I'm trying to figure out where the fuck this guy went to. Because normally... Oh yeah, we're back up here. Hey, Phoenix. What are you doing? Oh, I gotta pat Phoenix. Phoenix doesn't come up for pats too often. What are you doing? Yeah, Azula's asleep. Can you see her? Yep. He's found her. And Azula's woken up. Sorry. I was patting her, and she, like, you know how in movies where, like, the dinosaur or something like that, like, wakes up, or, like, the dragon wakes up and its eye, like, turns to look at you? That's what she just did. I'm like, that's not creepy.